This video will show you my entire Transformers collection as of May 2020. Now, to start off, I have this poster showing off the original Generation 1 1984 figures. I'm not sure if this is like an original or not, but it's just something to look at. So, as you can see, they're all displayed on the table, most of them in robot mode. Now what I'll do is, I will list what toy line they're from, and say their name to show you my Transformers knowledge. First up, here I have my Throttlebots from Generation 1. Goldbug, the yellow one, and Rollbar, the green one. Now there are other Throttlebots. A red car named Chase, a dump truck named Wideload, a white car named Searchlight, and a blue car named Freeway. I don't have those as of now. Next up, we move along to my Decepticon Stunticons. Dragstrip, Breakdown, Dead End, and Wild Rider. And behind them, I have the Stunticon leader, Motormaster. These guys are all able to combine to form a huge robot named Menasor, and I do have the parts for Menasor, although currently I'm displaying them all in their non-combined forms. Next up, I have what's called a Duocon Flywheels. He's formed from both a jet and a tank. So, he's got an auto transformation, meaning you press the plane on the tank, he just automatically springs up, and he's really fun to fiddle with if I'm bored. Next up, I have my only mini vehicles: Outback, Swerve, and Tailgate. Now, ironically, these guys were all reissued a few years ago, but I'm pretty sure that these are original Generation 1 figures because their faces aren't painted. Swerve in particular has got an entire red face. Next up, we move on to some of my only vehicle modes Transformers, or Transformers in vehicle modes. I have some Micromasters, and some Minicons from Transformers Armada. So here, we have the, I can't really remember their names, but they consist of Powertrain, who looks a lot like Optimus Prime, High Jump, Mudslinger, and Tote, who looks like Ironhide. And here, I actually remember what these guys are called. They are the Race Car Patrol, which consists of Road Handler, Freewheeler, Swindler, and Tailspin. Tailspin in particular rarely ever stands up in his robot mode, so that's sort of annoying. Next up, we get to the first non-Generation 1 figures in my collection. These are Minicons from Transformers Armada. Here we have Rollbar, not to be confused with this Rollbar. Armada reused a lot of names, but here we have Rollbar, who is this guy's partner. This guy's named Scavenger, I'll show him later. Here we have Nightbeat, the motorcycle, partners to this blue car guy here, named Sideswipe. This missile truck named Inferno partners to this guy named Frost. Now this is actually a reed color, as the original Inferno is supposed to be like a dark gray color, and I named this guy Grapple, and Frost I named him something else, more on him later. And these three are the Night Attack Minicon team: Scator, Broadside, and Fetch. These guys aren't really the partners of any particular guy. They were sort of as a free pack. And let me tell you, these guys were when I had these guys in robot mode, they were some of the most problematic ones because they always fell over, which is why they're currently in their vehicle modes. Now, going up, we have some of my favorite figures. We have Generation 1 Cyclonus, Generation 2 Silverbolt, and I say Generation 2 because he's got a blue color scheme to him, whereas the original Silverbolt is supposed to be, well, not silver, but a white color. Silverbolt is an aerial bot, although currently he's the only one I have. Here we have Motormaster, as showed earlier. And we get to some of my Generation 1 Autobot cars. Here I have Sunstreaker and Mirage. These guys are both unofficial, as in, well, they're pretty much bootlegs. They're unofficial reissues. And they're both sort of problematic, these figures, because with Sunstreaker, he's supposed to have a door on his back that hides his arms for vehicle mode, but that's came off. I still have it, but still. And with Mirage, his weapons are gold for one thing, but, well, he's constantly compressing downwards, and, well, it's sort of annoying, and his waist is a little bit loose as well. So next up we have some more Autobot cars. And these ones are actually official. They are reissues, and I'll show the boxes later. But here we have Prowl, Skids, Inferno. No, not this Inferno. But Inferno nonetheless. And Red Alert. And next to him we have some modern figures from the Generations toy line. Or to be more specific, Titan's Return, Blur, and Topspin. And I even have the Generation 1 Topspin in front of his, well, successor. It's like one of those before and after pictures. Remember Topspin? This is what he looks like now. Feel old yet? If you've ever seen that meme. Anyways, what Topspin is holding is, well, this is supposed to be Brawn. As these guys, their heads are formed from smaller robots, and Brawn is actually one of those little robots. He doesn't go with anyone, he's one of those small pack figures. But, next to Flywheels, I have my only Insecticons so far. And, well, as you can see, they look like they turn into insects, and they do. So here we have Kickback, who's supposed to be like a grasshopper, and Bombshell, who's supposed to be a rhinoceros beetle. Now, there is a third Insecticon who turns into a stag beetle named Shrapnel, who, at this time, I currently do not have. Next up, we have some of my Target Masters who, well, they have guns that turn into smaller robots. So here I have Scoop, who, well, he's a front-end loader, along with Hole Punch, the blue gun, and, well, normally he's supposed to come with a yellow guy named Tracer. Although this guy, I think his name is Silencer. This guy actually came with the only one I don't have, Landfill. So, this guy is actually partnered with the wrong bot. But next to him, I have Quick Mix and his weapons, Boomer, okay, Boomer, and Ricochet. So, as I said, I currently do not have Landfill at this time. I was close to buying him, but I saw Quick Mix, and, well, I bought him along with Cyclonus. I got him with birthday money that I got for my 14th birthday, so he's one of my most recent. Which, I forgot to mention, Silverbolt at this time is currently my most recent Transformer. Next up, I have the two Battle Chargers, Runabout and Runamuck. What these guys do is, well, to put them in a vehicle mode, you have to compress them down, because they have a pullback feature. Like, if they go at like a long enough mile, they just automatically transform. Next up, we have the Autobot Jump Starters, Twin Twist, and as you saw earlier, Topspin, along with his Titan's Return counterpart. These guys do something similar, although what they do is they like pretty much fold down, like you know how a phone case, you can close the phone case to hide the screen? They transform in a similar way to their vehicle mode, and just like the Battle Chargers, you pull them back and they just spring up. So next up, we have my first Unicron Trilogy figure, Cybertron Clocker. Although, as you'll see later on, this is actually the Japanese release, named Skids. They actually named this guy Skids for some reason. Anyways, here, I have Combiner Wars Ironhide, and Power of the Primes Dreadwind. Now, I actually got Dreadwind in March this year from I can't really remember the shop's name. I think it was like Home Bargains or something. I can't fully remember the name of the shop I got this guy from. But next to him we have Generation 1 Frost, he's currently my only Seeker Jet in my collection. Moving along, here I have Armada Smokescreen, and next to him, as I mentioned earlier, Armada Sideswipe, who gets a lot of hate by the Transformers fandom, but, well, he does have his flaws, but I think he's underrated. Next to him, we have my Transformers Energon figures, most of them. And these are the Autobots who are able to combine with each other as, like, a torso and legs. So here I have Rodimus, Optimus Prime, who actually came in a 2-pack with Megatron, Hotshot, Prowl, not this Prowl, and Downshift, or as the Energon cartoon constantly called him, Cliffjumper, although he's actually supposed to be named Downshift. Now here we have Armada Frost, which is actually a recolor, and I repurposed this guy as an Armada version of the Seeker Dirge, because his colors are very similar to Dirge. Next to him, we have Sideways. Now, Sideways is supposed to come with 2 little mini-cons who can form his head, sort of similar to these guys, although I had these guys, although their legs are pretty much broken, so I don't display them. But Sideways is both an Autobot and a Decepticon, because he's supposed to be like a herald of Unicron, the evil planet character from Transformers. He's supposed to work for him. Now, moving along, here I have the Pretender, Landmine, and his shell, which he actually hides in, so yeah. Here we have one of my favorite figures, Double Dealer. Just like Sideways, Double Dealer is supposed to be both an Autobot and a Decepticon. He's a Power Master, seen by that thing in his, well, tummy. You have to have that inserted to unlock his transformation. And he also has a bat that actually plugs into his belly to unlock a Decepticon Vulture mode. Seeing how it takes up too much space in my opinion, I have him displayed in his Autobot mode. And next to him, we have my other Autobot. Well, I'll say that again. We have my other Power Master, Slapdash. Now, before we move on to the next guy, I forgot to mention, Double Dealer's Autobot Power Master partner is named Nock, and his Decepticon Power Master, which is actually, his Decepticon Power Master, which I would show, but I don't really want to move him. It's stored in his rear end, I'm not joking. His Decepticon Power Master's partner is named Scar, and with Slapdash, his partner, the guy in orange, is named Lube. Anyways, moving along to another favorite figure of mine, Combiner Wars Hotspot. Next to him, Titan's Return Astro Train of Skytread, who is supposed to be an updated version of Flywheels. Now, Astro Train is actually a triple changer because he has both a shuttle and like an armored train mode, and that's awesome in my opinion. We'll move on to this familiar guy later. Next up, we have Cybertron Dirt Boss, the purple guy with the wheels on his back, and well, look, can you see his face? He's got a cyborg eye, and it's like a Gatling gun. That's awesome, and I love that name, Dirt Boss. It sounds so awesome. But moving along, here I have Universe 2008, I think it is, Universe 2008 Blaster, and Block Rock, who's actually supposed to be a recolor of Cybertron Soundwave. The 2007 movie Mudflap, even though he didn't appear in the movie, he just appeared in the toy line, and Mudflap is actually a really poor seller, no matter what toy of him it is. Now, Mudflap actually has a unique transformation in the sense that Well, he pretty much turns sideways for his transformation. Yeah, I can't really describe it that well. But moving on, here we have Armada Scavenger, which is one of the first Armada figures I ever bought, and I think one of the first Transformers I ever bought for my collection. Here we have one of the many Robots in Disguise versions of Optimus Prime. This is like one of the simpler ones. And here we have one of the first Transformers I bought for my collection, and I know this because I remember having this guy for quite a while. Generation 2 Megatron. Along with his sound feature. So yeah, this guy's got a bit of dust on him, but hey, I've had him for a while, they said. Moving along, I have 2 more Megatrons. Cyberverse Megatron, which is my most recent Megatron, I think. Well, he's the most recent Megatron introduced in Transformers. And here we have Transformers Energon Megatron, who was in a 2-pack of that Optimus Prime I showed earlier. This guy actually looks more like Megatron's upgraded form, Galvatron. He's even been recolored into Galvatron. Next up, we have Robots in Disguise Soundwave, a 3-step changer who I often fiddle with at times. And yeah, he's rather fun. And that concludes my Transformers collection. Psych. I actually have a few more. So starting off, some of these guys are GoBots, who were a competitor of Transformers released by Bandai in Japan, and well, I just have a few to show you. Now with this guy, you're thinking, really? You have a rock? Well, yes I do. But this guy is actually a Transformer in himself. He transforms into a rock. But anyways, this guy's technically the same toy line as these GoBots, and his name is Boulder. He's supposed to be a rock lord. Yeah, that's just underwhelming in my opinion. But here we have Fightor, the Red Jet, Buggyman, Slicks, Leader 1, Rescue, Spoons, Spoons is one of my favorites. Water Walk, Flip Top, Heat Seeker, and Stinger, along with Super GoBots, Stax, and Psykill. The Super GoBots are bigger GoBots who pretty much scale better with Transformers. Now here, I have a Generation 1 Blitzwing in his vehicle mode, or one of his vehicle modes. He's got jet mode, but right now I have him in his tank form. The reason why he's displayed here, well, he rarely stands up. What happened was one of his feet broke off, because this is actually another unofficial reissue. So yeah, I'm hoping to find a better condition Blitzwing soon, because this guy, without swearing, is a piece of rubbish. Now moving on, here I have some of the Transformers Energon Constructicons. Steam Hammer, Sledge, Dust Storm, Bone Crusher, and Wide Load. These guys can all combine into not Devastator, but a robot named Constructicon Maximus. I don't know why they called him that. But finally, we have what could be my biggest Transformer currently, Cybertron Starscream. Along with more lights and sounds. Now, I actually have a funny story to tell you about this guy. One time I was at a doctor's office, and the waiting room actually had a copy of this toy, minus the crown and the huge wing bits, because these actually contain a sword and a gun in them respectively. It was really fun to fiddle with, so what I did was, when I got home, I decided to buy one for myself, and I do not regret this. I freaking love this guy, he's that amazing. So, that concludes my Transformers collection. No, I have more. Here, I have some of the original packaging. To start off, I have Sunstreaker's box. Even though it looks sort of mint condition, it's not an official Generation 1 Sunstreaker box. As I said, it's an unofficial box. But hey, it's nice to have a Generation 1 box with me, even if it is fake. Next up, we have the box for Dreadwinds. With the advertisement for these little things, which I don't even understand. How would a Doombringing Decepticon Air Defense Specialist wield the power of the Primes? I have no idea. But behind these two boxes, I have the Energon, Optimus Prime, and Megatron 2-pack. This is where they came from. The Power Link battles. Now, next to him, I have Energon Steam Hammers box. And there is Constructicon Maximus. And to prove the names, yep, this guy is actually named Constructicon Maximus. Worst name ever. Now behind that, I have another GoBots figure, the Power Warrior. If I can find the name. Courageous. I keep this guy in packaging because, well, it's not that he's too big, it's just that I rarely use him. He's not mint in box, although I do still keep him in his box. Oh, sorry, I'm just putting the boxes back. If I just back. Now above that, I have the boxes for Prowl, Skids, Inferno, and Red Alert. And these are the commemorative series reissues, which is the book style. I'll show you with Prowl. See how it's supposed to contain the figure in there. And this one advertises Skywarp and Trax, who I don't have. Red Alert and Inferno, which I do have. And this cool looking Optimus Prime, which I don't have. But here, we have the box for Titan's Return Astro Train and his little Dark Moon, which is actually the guy who forms his head. And finally, I have some bio cards. That one's not staying in. But here I have the cards for Armada Sideswipe, Powerlink's Frost, Steam Hammer, Clocker or Skids, Minor Wars Hotspot, Titan's Return Astro Train, Titan's Return Blur, Titan's Return Autobot Topspin or Autobot Topspin because that's a typo, Power of the Prime's Dreadwind, GoBots or Robo Machine Psykill, and some Generation 1 tech specs. So we got Mirage, Blitzwing, Kickback, and the Off-Road Patrol. That was their name. If you remember the team of vehicles who had that Optimus Prime look-alike earlier, that's their name, the Off-Road Patrol. And finally, a couple of Transformers fact sheets I did out of boredom. If you want to pause and read some of these, then, well, be my guest. And that pretty much concludes my entire Transformers collection so far. Pretty big, eh? Well, I hope you enjoyed, and this is Charlie Young, signing off.